up, guys? Wolfie stationed back with another cartoon conspiracy theory, and this cartoon conspiracy theory, we are going to be talking about My Little Pony. There's a few theories, but we are doing part one, so sit back and enjoy. Let's start with theory number one. Theory 1, MLP Dead Girl Theory. According to the person who purported this theory, he had pondered after watching the first episode of the series, and realizing that the characters seem eerily familiar to real girls who once read about an old newspaper article, an article when he conveniently owns the only copy, which conveniently comes from an out-of-fault newspaper. The newspaper article was about 6 girls who live in a small North Carolina town and who had died, adding that same date, January 18, 1989, and if you read the description of these 6 girls, they may sound eerily familiar to you. The first girl is Samantha. Gales was a 15-year-old girl who was abused and neglected her family, who would often beat her, starve her, locked in the basement, and even force her to sleep outside. This abuse forced her to be introverted with low self-esteem. As such, she was ignored by her classmates, and the only friends she ever had, the small animals, find and rescue. Sadly, the abuse and loneliness were getting too much for her to bear, and she ended up taking her life by ingesting Valium. The second girl is Janice Walters, the popular girl with dreams of moving to Paris to become a fashion designer. While seems to move in glamorous life, her family life was anything but. Her mother had only married her father for losing money and pushing the family into debt. This caused much friction between the two, and they often argue and bickering about the money. One day, an argument forced them to crash their car, causing Janice to snap her neck on impact and die instantly. The next girl is Alexandra Matthews, a school athlete who always strives to be the best in sports, especially on track. She had high aspirations of attending college on a sports scholarship and even competing in the Olympics. This drive caused her to neglect her family, her grades, and even her own health. She even took steroids in order to boost her performance. However, this push and drug abuse soon took its toll on her at the track event, where her heart gave out and she died days later in the hospital. Another girl, Jamie Sanders, was a farm girl who grew up on a struggling farm. She was a hard worker who worked both on and off the farm in order to support her family, especially after her parents died. As such, she often neglected her school and social life and would tire herself to the bone. She met her gruesome demise when she fell into a wood chipper. Perhaps the saddest story is that of Katherine Jackson, a foster child whose birth father had killed her mother and eventually himself. When she was 5, she moved from home to home. It's never really settling down and often being taken in by foster parents who intentionally then collected her in order to make money off her. The death of her parents and the continued neglect she suffered wore away at her end, eventually her sanity. Hearing voices and acting out in school, her over-the-top behavior made many to assume she was merely hyperactive. She met her tragic end when one of the voices her head convinced her she could fly, making her jump off the school roof to her death. The last girl, Cynthia Little, was a model student who was always pressured to excel academically at a young age. Her academic success caught the attention of the prestigious school, which was interested in enrolling her. In order to attend, she would have to pass a strict entrance exam. She studied day and night to prepare for it, but the pressure was so intense that she was forced to cheat. When the test officials caught her cheating, she was so distraught and ashamed that she ended up hanging herself in her bedroom. Allegedly, the 6 girls served as an inspiration of the main 6, and obviously, anyone with a half brain would realize that this story is as real as a tria. But it does make one think. Consider this: when Lauren Faust was asked by Hasbro to create My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, she had originally approached the company for her own Cartoon Galaxy girls. Why was she so willing to forego her original idea for this? Could it be that she was inspired by real-world events? Then think about reveals the backstory. of all 6 characters and how they received their kitty marks agony the same day to Moo, like how the real girls in the alleged article died on the same day and by obtaining their cutie marks. Each of the 6 ponies had achieved the dreams of the 6 deceased girls. Fluttershy dedicated her life to help animals. Rarity became a fashion designer. Rainbow Dash was recognized for her athletic prowess. Applejack was able to take care of her family. Pinkie Pie was able to earn the love of her family and friends. And Twilight Spherical entered her dear school. Could it be that Faust wanted to provide closure for these 6 girls by telling their life stories and how their lives could have been?